One thing which is central to the work in toxicology is the role of animal models. And there is, especially now, a lot of discussion on how well animal models translate to humans. And I remember years ago when we started interacting, when at that time I was working for Elsevier, you were working with some of my colleagues, with Matt Clark, which I'm sure will listen to this recording.
Hopefully.
And you had a very nice paper, like studying actually how well animals translate to human. What does the evidence actually tells us about how animal finding translate to human?
The problem is in toxicology testing, we do not know what we do not know. It's a fundamental heuristic problem. Animal studies are doing a good job for certain modalities. This may change with new modalities. We'll probably come to that topic. But in general, they are not that bad as they are portrayed in the lay press. An adverse event per se is not a direct, always happening toxicology effect, but there is a statistical thing behind it. Yeah, you have it 1 in 10, 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, and sometimes only 1 in 100,000. How many animals do we have in a test? 60. If we talk about rodents, much less if we talk about the non-rodents. So purely from a statistical perspective, we can't detect it. So it's nothing against the animal study.
What is the reason why we still rely heavily on some of the study like we've done before? Is it a matter of science, regulation, inertia?
The three, you named it.
Okay.
You named it. Before, I would have come up with the same three categories. Yeah? And I do not really know which is the most important. I would say, in terms of quotation in industry, it's probably regulatory. But I always tell people, this is intellectual laziness, because the people in the regulatory authorities present our scientists, trained scientists, and good trained scientists, meaning they think the same way. The objectives are slightly different because they are responsible to protect the patients. From a regulatory legal point, we are also expected to protect patients and the environment, but we are here to find new drugs and eventually we have to market them. So there is a certain conflict of interest, but the basis of science is the same.
You worked on the concept of virtual control groups. Can you explain, for those who don't know what are virtual control groups, can you explain what it is?
That's so simple that I'm always struck that nobody else has come up with this idea. As said, we do the animal studies in a very standardized, harmonized ways according to guidance. As a consequence, and it's always set up in a pretty much similar way. You have a control group, a low dose, mid dose, high dose. And this goes back to Paracelsus. Yeah? I always say, if I give a lecture on toxicology, if you have understood Paracelsus, then you have understood 80% in toxicology.
So the dose is the poison?
Exactly. You got it.
Yeah.
We have all this wealth of data in the archives of the pharmaceutical companies. Now we need to leverage it. We need to make assets out of it. Yeah? Data as an asset.
So how far are we from actually being able to have this as a standard in the industry? So you say we are doing this project, so we are in the process of doing it. So when is it, in your opinion, that we will have this as a normal procedure as opposed to something that is still new and where you need to convince people?
The concomitant press release of EMEA, where they said it's the first qualification of a NUM ever for preclinical purposes, EMEA did, made us a bit proud, I have to say. And they also said that it is a blueprint. What else can you get? They are handing over the map, the roadmap. Please continue. Here is the direction. Yeah.
I will ask you now an impossible question as we are coming close to the end of our discussion. If we fast forward 5-10 years from now, what will toxicology look like?
Yeah. As a toxicologist, being involved with regulatory interaction, I tend to be rather conservative and not that visionary. So that's a trait. We'll play a better role, and we will, in parallel, also improve our understanding where the limitations are. Another topic we only briefly touched on, new modalities. And the new modalities will require a completely different approach. Yeah. So where will we be in 10 years? Probably more personalized medicine. And this would then result also in completely different safety assessment strategies.